Hey guys, welcome back here to the Fishing Teacher. Appreciate you guys swinging by the channel. We'll check the video out today. Got a good one for y'all today, guys. I'm going to talk about one of the best ways to catch big fish during the pre-spawn time of the year when the water's in the 50s. We're going to be talking about this zuri Rattling Vibe crankbait. I'm going to show you guys how to modify this thing and give you guys some tips and advice where it works in, because when you get the right set of situations, guys, you can catch freaking hogs on this thing. I've caught so many 4 to 5 pounders on it in the specific situation I'm getting ready to describe it, which does not involve grass, that you guys are really going to want to hear about this. So we'll get into that in the episode today. Also, guys, quick invitation. Anybody interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, guys? I do most of my lessons here in Missouri on Table Rock and Stockton Lake. Shoot me a private message on my Facebook page, Intuitive Angling with Randy Blockett, for details. Get y'all set up with that. Also, guys, a real quick reminder, tonight we have our second live stream event that I'm going to be having for my channel members. So if you guys are a channel member of the Fishing Teacher or would like to join as a channel member, you'll be able to see this private live stream tonight, or along with our Patreon members. So if you're interested in doing that, just join up as a channel member by going to the homepage and hit the join button. Or you can go into the description of the video and just hit that Patreon subscription for that. We're going to be talking about the best lures for March fishing tonight. I'm going to be answering all you guys' comments and questions, so look forward to that. And finally, guys, I will link this in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description, the zuri Rattling Vibe. If you guys would like to pick some up after this video, after I show you how to modify them, using that link that I put in there, it's a good way to do that, so I really appreciate that. 1 second, guys, I've got to get this text from my wife. Guys, sorry about that. That's part of the informality of my videos here, sort of rough around the edges a little bit, but let's get into the video here. Okay, guys, here it is, zuri Rattling Vibe. This is a 1/2 ounce lipless crankbait. Guys, this is a great lipless crankbait if you've never tried it. I use a lot of different ones. I use that Mega Bass Vibration X a lot. I use old school rattle traps. I use Strikes King red eye shads, and I use these. Each one of them has a different set of situations they work in based upon their configuration and how fast or slow they sink. Now, the thing that makes the Rattling Vibe really unique is it sinks really fast. And that's part of the appeal of this as far as the technique goes. But first of all, let's talk a little bit about the modification I want to show you. And this is something I just came up through experimentation. If you get some at my Tackle Warehouse link, guys, it doesn't matter the color. Just whatever they have there, because you're going to scrape all the paint off of it. So let's say you get one like this. Take a knife or take a file, scrape it down to bare, clear plastic, like I've got right here. And then once you do that, paint the back of it black. I just used a magic marker and painted that black, and then put you some red gills on it, just like that. And that's the way it looks. It's like a natural looking gnarly shad, and it looks awesome in the water, guys. It looks like something, well, you can't buy it in the store, but that simple modification is the key to this technique. So that's how you want to do it. Scrape it down, black back, red gills on the side. I usually put 2 Gamakatsu number 5 hooks on it, ready to go with that. Now, here's what you want to look for, and this is when the thing works. This is all about, like so much of the pre-spawn stuff, this is a 50s, water temperatures in the 50s type of a deal. So when the water is between 50 to 60 degrees, this thing is going to work, and it works the best when the water temperature is in the low to mid 50s. Now, this is a pre-spawn type of a technique. So what you have to look for is you're going to be in these pre-spawn type of areas. And what I like to look for, I want to go into a big cove where I think the fish are going to spawn at, say in April. So try to find a big cove that's got some good spawning habitat in it. Maybe it's got some flatter banks or something. Doesn't really matter what the cover is in the cove. I prefer, bare banks or gravelly or small rock or something like that, and start fishing at the mouth of the cove. In other words, if there's a point leading into that cove, start fishing right on that point and work your way about halfway back into the cove. And what you want to do, first of all, you got to have water visibility for this thing to work. The water visibility needs to be about 2 to 4 foot. Really, 2 to 3 foot would be perfect. So 2 to 3 foot of visibility, water temperatures in the mid 50s, low to mid 50s, and get in these big spawning coves. So put your boat out in about probably 15 to 20 foot of water, not way far off the bank, and make a 45-degree angle cast to the bank. And this is how you want to work it. This is critical to get bites on this thing. Cast it out there. Say you're in 20 foot of water. I cast it up there close to the bank, maybe in 2 to 3 feet of water. I let the bait hit the bottom, and then I'm slowly cranking the bait like that, and I'm lifting it up a little bit, letting it go down. Crank it 3 or 4 times, pump it up like that. Hey guys, sorry for that little glitch there. I had a thing came up on my phone that said my storage was full, so the video quit recording, so back into it. But anyway, what I was saying, guys, is you want to keep the lipless crankbait close to the bottom here. So this is not a thing where you want to keep it in the mid part of the column. A lot of times with the lipless crankbait, you're reeling it through the mid part of the water column. You want to slow roll this bait along the bottom. So what I want to do is I let it go to the bottom like that. Then I'm cranking a little bit like at a medium retrieve, pumping it up a little bit, and then letting it go back down to the bottom. And you just start, reeling it medium like that. But in other words, throughout the course of my retrieve, once I cast it, let's say for example, I'm working it and I've worked it maybe out into 5 or 10 foot of water. I always want to let the bait go back down to the bottom, and I want it to touch the bottom. So when I start cranking it 3 or 4 times, that bait's gonna come up off the bottom. So I don't want to just keep cranking it. It's gonna keep coming up shallower. So I crank it 3 or 4 times, or 5 or 6 or whatever, pump it, and then I let it go back to the bottom. Sometimes I'll just pull it like that. So this slow rolling lipless crankbait technique is what triggers those big fish to hit during this phase. This is just a phase specifically to that water temperature in correlation with the water clarity. And guys, a lot of times it'll just feel mushy. And usually when they bite it, it's a big one, most every single time. So let me run by sort of the scenario that would be perfect for it. You go out there fishing, let's say it's, this time of year, or maybe, another couple weeks from now. Get out there in those big spawning type coves, big spawning type flats. If you got water visibility 2 to 3 feet, it doesn't really matter what the conditions are. It can be cloudy, sunny, it doesn't really matter. And just get out there and just start slow rolling that thing down those flatter banks. Most of the time in that situation, those fish are gonna hit in anywhere between 5 to 10 foot of water. And another thing with it, guys, another little tip I'll give you is you need to use a little bit of soft tip rod. One of the things that it'll really hurt you on this thing is if your rod's too stiff. So use some type of a, 6 foot 10 inch, a 7 foot medium action bait cast rod. And again, like 12 to 15 pound test fluorocarbon line is about the perfect test for it. But I basically just wanted to share that with you guys. Another time this thing works good is a lot of times during the pre-spawn, those fish will get in the back part of those coves, in the middle of the cove, when they're staging and getting ready to spawn. So in other words, let's say for example, you work halfway back into the cove like I'm talking, go ahead and idle all the way till you're about, maybe 50 yards from the back of the cove, and throw this thing in the middle of the cove, in the deepest part of the back end there, and do the same thing, just slow roll it along the bottom. And a lot of times, especially if you have a day that unseasonably warm, those bigger fish will pull back in those guts like that. And this is a great way to catch them on the lipless crankbait. So anyway, guys, definitely try that. It will catch you some big fish, I can promise you, under those right situations. And hope it works for you guys, and we'll talk later.